Good evening.
Good
Uh,
evening, sir. How are you?
how are you?
No, how are you? How are you?
Excellent. And today we're just talking about the promise and challenges of building inclusive and cohesive communities.
Mm,
Yesterday we were talking to Chipo in relation to a dispute that has occurred
yes.
between Divine Mafa and Dr. Kwanda, who is based in Zimbabwe. This
Mm,
to do with the investment that was made. And as I said earlier to Divine, I got caught up in this dispute.
yes.
And reason I got caught up is because I belong to WhatsApp groups where Divine is also a member.
Remember.
And then in addition, there is a presumption that I know Divine more than I do, and that I can speak to him to make good on whatever relationship that existed between him and Dr. Kuanda. So the person who called me is Chipoera,
Mm,
who genuinely believed that Divine Mafa, an independent person, is an agent of me. And therefore, I have more say on him than actually I have.
mm,
So I thought it would be useful to talk about this. If you are seen with somebody on social media, if you appear on the same show like this, somebody who has got a dispute with you will then automatically think that since I know
you are an
you,
agent. Mm.
yeah, where do you think this kind of thinking comes from? Have you ever encountered the same guilty by association? When the deal is being done, the parties to it
Mm.
never have the courtesy to inform you of what they are about to do. When something goes wrong, then you are now an interested party.
You know that I think that is the challenge we are facing in trying to build inclusive communities and inclusive platforms. Because we cannot run away from the fact that at first we are people and we are different people with different backgrounds and with the different way of doing things. But when we are coming together to say let's build an inclusive community, we are saying let's come together and have a common understanding over a cause, over a certain cause, so that we can move together as one, we can move together as a force. So however these problems uh, we face these problems because remember yesterday the same Chipo called me separately and she was talking and she was saying the same thing and just because I know you and you know Divine Mafa who is in the US and Dr. Kwanda and all the things she was talking about which has absolutely nothing to do with me, that there was a lot of money, which went just like that from Dr. Kwanda and other people who are trying to invest in the market in forex trading and stock market with the Divine Mafa in the US. And she was mentioning a lot of money, close to 100,000 US dollars, and it went like that. But I wasn't involved. But she, because I was in a conversation with you. She said no, she thought it was necessary for me to know what is happening. So these are the challenges. One can become a victim, or one can be involved in issues which doesn't absolutely have nothing to do with the person, just because of association. And you are not the only one, and that is not. It's not only you, and it's not only the first time to hear this. It is happening in our quest. As much as we want to build, and in our quest to build a platform and to build a community with a common understanding as a people, we are faced with all these challenges. But our ability to say this is happening, and then let's go to the bottom of these issues and try to solve the problem. However, the only way to build these problems, when we are doing business, when we are doing contracts, and we are doing deals, we need to do with those people who are in the community, so that tomorrow, if anything happened, we know where to go. If tomorrow anything happened, you know where to go. If Divine Mafa borrow $5,000 from me, if he squandered the money, we are in the same community. We know, and the community helped me to say, this is what happened. Let's recover. Then we recover the money as a community. And even a person will be exposed by the community. But as long as people are doing things outside the framework of the common understanding, outside the framework of the community, when things went bad like this, it is very difficult for us to resolve issues like this. So we need to develop this culture, to have a change of heart, to say it's not good to do one-on-one deals, to call you one-on-one, and after our discussion as a framework, as the platform, I come to your inbox, I send an inbox message, or I call a private call to say let's avoid others and engage in this business and engage in these deals. When things go bad, then you come back to the community to say this is what is happening. How can you build a community with the people who are swindling people of their hard earning money? But when you were doing those deals, it was behind the scenes. We were not there. So that is the tragedy we have, and it's a tragedy of major proportion. So we need to put all these things and say, no, this is the importance of community. This is the importance of working as one people in a community, which all of us can understand what we are doing, with a shared understanding, with a shared value of the things we are doing as individuals in that platform.
I think following our earlier conversation, Mkoma Masimba did call and said he is trying to get a radio slot tomorrow, and he wants to speak to the Prime Minister or the Minister of the Victoria Province, or the Chief Minister
in Australia.
He's out of hospital. He's looking tomorrow. He's checking into a hotel, but he's looking for permanent accommodation. But he promised that tomorrow he'll be available. And I did tell him about what people are saying in connection with his page, that why are we using his page? There are people who come to the page and they find that he is not there. And he said, why?
But there are some other people in the page.
Yeah, why is it their problem? Because nobody can use my page without my consent. And Tinashe Chikode say, why using account? And for Tinashe, I'm using 8 pages. The software that we have allows you to automatically broadcast on 8 pages. Mkoma Masimba is just one of the 8 pages. Tinashe may not know that, but Tinashe believes that he can speak, or she can speak on behalf of somebody who is still alive. Should that not be the basis for us to find each other? What is not yours is not yours.
It's not yours. It is. It is a basis. What is not yours is not yours.
Yeah, but there are many
Are,
people.
are we? Are we?
No, Tinashe
Are
said,
we in an
okay.
animal farm?
No, Tinashe says, I understand, because the question that arise, even in a family,
Mm,
if you see me driving my brother's car,
mm,
then people automatically assume something else. I remember when I finished college, I bought a house and my brother stayed there. And it was my house, but he could use it. And I said, take it. It's yours.
mm.
Because
Use
I
it.
could never find any reason why I should evict him.
Mm,
But I had bought the car that I was using. I said, take it. It's yours. If I'm not here, use it. So this
mm.
part of community building, I remember when I left to go to school in the UK, I had a cousin there. During vacations, I would stay with him, pay no cent, get food for free because of relationships. When white people came to Africa, they used Africa as a platform to build their own communities so that they
Yes.
could go, they could build schools, not schools for Europe, but schools for their own
For Africans,
children.
for their children.
No, the first thing was to just protect whoever it is. They build the school as a platform for knowledge building, knowledge sharing. Nobody says it's my school. But when it comes to this silo mentality that we all have, we say, this is yours. So I said to Mkoma Masimba, let's write a new book about community building. Because one day you're born. If Rhodesians could adopt Cecil John Rhodes as a platform for them to find each other, to prosper as they thought, to exclude blacks as they did, that was them on the ground finding a way to survive outside Europe. They came with one-way ticket to make Africa home wherever they arrived. If you were Portuguese, you were persuaded to learn English if it was an English-speaking area. If you were English, you were persuaded to learn Portuguese.
Portuguese.
For the Anglophone, you were persuaded to speak French. But when it comes to building communities in this virtual, you find there are people who genuinely believe that Facebook is about numbers, not about the content. You were reading my communication with somebody who just approached me today. And what did he say? I was not the one who approached him, but this is what he said for the purpose of this conversation, so that we can build communities. You are on fire these days, Mr. Mawere. I tweeted something about Ian Smith. Just looking at his face, you think it manifests balance, maturity, and compassion. Because there are people, when you look at them, they lack balance. When you listen to them, when you read what they write, they lack maturity. And some of them lack compassion. So he says, you're on fire these days, Mr. Mawere. Hi, that's my response. Good evening, Mr. Mawere. Good evening to you too. I hope you are well. I'm following the live conversations. At times I catch up very late due to work commitments. I love the provocation. This is somebody else We don't follow you at your page. Now why using Mkoma Masimba's account? If you don't follow me and you want to own Mkoma Masimba's page, please do so. Talk to him. You don't have to follow me because I'm not here to be followed by you. Asichi Nemisekuru, the kuona notification yokuti Mkoma Masimba is now on live. As I said, this platform allows you to broadcast on 8 different platforms at the same time. I'm broadcasting on my page. You can go and check my page. And if he books and he wants to be able to be on 1873 platform, he can do so. He can decide how many pages, so that those who are interested can also find.
What these people, I think what these people are failing to understand is that we, as 1873 network, what happens? I think they need to know the background. Mkoma Masimba approached us and say, the network, I am writing a book and I want to launch the book. However, I want to ask Mr. Mawere and team to link me to Professor Lumumba, because I want Professor Lumumba of Kenya to come and bless the occasion virtually, the launch of his book. And he said that my book is talking about mental health issues. My book is talking about Pan-Africanism. My book is talking about the life of those Zimbabweans in the diaspora. The book is talking about the political issues and the political situation in Zimbabwe. So I want to launch the book. So I need help of the community. And that is why I approached. We are not the ones who went to Mkoma Masimba to say, you can come and join. Mkoma Masimba came to us and said, I want you to help me to invite Professor Lumumba to come on board. And then we said, alternatively, the people like Professor Lumumba, they cannot just give their time just like that. They need to be paid for giving up their time to come and address your event virtually. They need to be paid. Also, he has a lot of things on his table to clear. So it will be very difficult. However, it is for your project to be successful. If we can work as a team, then we introduce the concept of C2C to him. And he was interested to join the concept. And actually, he sees the value of C2C. So these people, I think, who are asking these questions, they don't understand the background of why we are here today. This is the background why we are here. We are trying to help an individual to launch the book. We are trying to help an individual on his project so that the project will be successful by giving alternative ways that are cost efficient, alternative ways that are easy to assist.
No,
and also remember.
In fact, I just spoke to him a few hours ago, and he says, can't we do a show on that? Whose platform is it? And what should social media be used for? So it's just that if it's recorded, I can play back the recording of it, because Mkoma Masimba was saying he's writing his book. But while he's writing his book, everybody in that book can also write their own versions.
Exactly.
He says he's looking for his mother, and he's got a cure for corona, and Zimbabwe is a patient that he thinks he's got a solution for.
Mm.
And we also learn a lesson here that Ghana's Nyaks has taken it upon himself or herself to say, why should you use so-and-so's car? Why should you use so-and-so's phone? As if you have stolen it. And for you to get access to someone's page, common sense, logic, and reason would dictate that the person who is affected by that decision has a right to complain.
Exactly.
If I
And you
step
cannot
on your
just go on. You need the details to get into the page.
Yeah, if I step on your toe, then Ghana's complains on your behalf. What kind of civilization is that? That will permit a third party to step into the shoes of the person who ought to complain and say, these are my people.
Then it's
But
animal civilization.
it may not be animal, it may be that we don't have a shared understanding of what social media is. And mudhara kana vana Eric akasei achingouya palive nokutangira tunenge magogoros, I don't know, embudzi emisekuru munoti bhowa. Imagine somebody comes and says seku munoti bhowa, as if he's invited to be bored. That is the challenge you face. And you have people who, instead of focusing on their own lanes, they focus on other people's lanes. And they think...
And that is the problem, and that is the challenge we are having.
So how do you best cure this? And this is a mature person, a balanced person, who woke up in the morning, wore his own clothes, if he's not a nudist, and then comes here to insult others, instead of just introducing himself to say, yes, I don't like the conversation, and I am going to do my own. We've come with the promise and challenges of building communities. Comment section. So Zagaoma. So we have come here to talk about these problems of people like Sen Munemo. How do you build a community? Imagine you are a president of a country in which Sen Munemo was a citizen who believes the country belongs to the president. And then say, Mr. President, you just bore me. And then what would be the next step for a person like that? Is it possible to build any community out of this? Or there is
not possible.
That is a problem in us. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I said the philosopher you are, you never give an answer straightforward.
No, I thought if I give you an answer, then you are boxing me to be an advisor of matters that fall outside my knowledge and outside my interest. That's why we are trying to build communities, and you have inspired this show with Elvis, that what you are asking me to say, maybe other people may be able to give a better advice.
No, let me answer why. As you said, you remember I said, I'm still prepared to work with people. Remember, even with what he has done.
Yeah.
And then it seems she's in need of something important in the academic. And she's a student who is young and probably stupid and naive, manipulated to be part of mess. So now she really needs help, because I told her one day, so now as a community builder, should I ignore or should I help? That is where I was coming with the question.
But what do you think in your own heart of hearts?
In my own heart of hearts, I know that she probably needs me for academic purpose, and it could have long-term implications. But on the other hand, he has demonstrated it could be spoiling her to not understand that there are consequences to disloyalty, number one, or either at least being inhuman, attacking people's personalities for no reason. I mean, the consequences for all behavior. You know, some people are not the members. They should be persona non grata. You know, they should never be admitted in certain clubs because of the way they are. So if you are a member and then you are actually exposing those naked pictures, and I think that some of the pictures came from her and some of the information. So I don't know whether she will ever realize that she will think that men to men must be mistreated to that extent. And whenever there's an issue, they should always stick together, even if the other one is wrong. We are in a community, but there should be punishment and reward for good and bad behavior.
So what you have shared with me, have you shared with others? That this is the person who is insulting me in public, but privately is seeking my assistance.
Right. He wrote a letter saying I'm mad in Openga and I am a pretender.
So you are a pretender, but
no money, but when she says you want me to guarantee, which means it involves money.
No, she's saying that, and if you read what she's saying, it tells a lot. It tells a lot because it says, hey, I've been calling you. I've been filling in an application where I need a guarantor. You won't be charged anything. And be asked for your money. So I know you are stingy. You don't part with money. So I'm asking to be a guarantor. But when you understand what a guarantor is, when you have a shared understanding of what a guarantor is and is not, you will not be saying this. But they just need a name there. It's not that they need a name. In the event of failing to meet your primary obligations, they turn to the guarantor. I want to put yours, but you haven't been picking up. If you see any message, don't panic. It's nothing. So do you think there is a shared understanding?
Obviously, a shared understanding on the same behavior that I see happening from the entitlement of our women, basically, I think. I think
no, don't say our women, because you don't have our women. This is a person who is a woman with a name.
Most women, I've seen just about the same behavior in every woman I bumped into who's from my country.
So are you generalizing? Are you saying the women of Zimbabwe come from the same womb? Are you saying that out of the population of Zimbabweans, that all women from Zimbabwe, they have a loud mouth?
You see, I've been in America for 25 years.
So what does that qualify you to generalize, to give women an identity?
That the impression is that overall that Vanopopota.
No. And you are saying that the people you live with who are human beings like you, our popoti and our sama.
But I'm saying there is also partly damaging part.
But are you saying that is a Zimbabwean factor? That's the X factor of Zimbabweans?
I don't know. It just makes me a bit worried because.
So if somebody likes you and falls in love with you and happens to be a Zimbabwean, what will be your attitude?
I would be skeptical to start with.
So you'll be skeptical and discriminate against that person on account of your experience.
I'm generally very small-minded in that aspect at this moment because of the experience.
So you are saying your experience can be generalized and create a template of Zimbabwean women?
I'll be expecting a lot of drama out of it in any case, and because of that, I am more skeptical. Yeah.
So you are skeptical of the geography of birth.
Let me say this: it's human nature that when you see a lion, you jump. So there is this fear that obviously would be unreasonable, because fear and emotion, they are unreasonable feelings. They come from an experience, and an assumption overwhelms you.
But why don't you be specific to the person? Why don't you be specific to the person?
They are not all like that. But I am more leery to try to experiment to see who's not like that.
Okay.
Because generally, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm just not leery. I'm just not even gonna try to find out if they are not all like that.
All right.
Like that means
So
that character fascination.
So imagine you are not in my shoes. What would you want me to advise you?
I know you would always work for reconciliation. You know, which is
no. She doesn't want reconciliation. All she's saying is, please, can you be my guarantor? It doesn't cost you anything, so it's not about your money.
You talk about reconciliation in general for people, you know. Like,
no, I talk about literacy, about understanding each other. She's saying, I know you don't want to part with your money, so I'm not asking for money. I'm asking you to be a guarantor. I want a bridge so that I can go to school. I'm applying to go further.
Well, I don't know what it is. Well, we can't make an assumption.
No, that's what she's saying. She's saying, all I need from you, pick up the phone and talk to me like a man and tell me, are you going to be my guarantor or not? That's all. And if you are going to be my guarantor, it doesn't cost you anything. That's what I hear to be saying. She's saying, Matt, whatever we had, you are my ex, but you are the only one I can come to for being a guarantor, which is costless according to her. The issue is that whether she understands what a guarantor is.
She does. I mean, who knows?
No, I'm saying, if you ask that, if you ever seen, yeah.
But I think just trust somebody who is a old friend of mine, who is no longer trustworthy to me, and she probably maintains.
Are you prepared to offer a guarantee without asking, without any strings attached to the guarantee?
Yeah, I think I will help them.
Yeah, so why do you need my advice if you want to help here?
You know, I was just asking you to, you know, because you were in the story anyway. So I figured, you know, I wanted to know what you think.
No, but if I give you advice, then
I should do it or not. Then I said, well, what would Mawere think? Because obviously, looking at the entire history of everything, I believe that you had an interview and you guys spoke, and so I was like, well, you had a lot of things that were said about me.
Yeah.
Very negative, and letters written. So the logic part of it is, I think it's maturity, being younger and still not yet aware of the word loyalty means.
But you know what? Anytime I hear of a problem, it eats into my time,
right?
Which is unnecessary, because when you guys fell in love, I wasn't there. When you broke up, I wasn't there. When you asked for guarantee, then I am there. When there's a problem, That's what we're saying. How do we build communities so that we can share the burden, advice? If you need someone tomorrow, please prepare for peace in times of war.
Right.
And prepare for war in times of peace. So the problem is that some people who see me on these live shows, they don't understand that I end up having to be a vacuum cleaner of other people's problems. And that's
Right.
time consuming. And if we were to be fair, we would say, guys, don't tell me what I don't need to know. And even if I need to know, what is my relevance in knowing it? So that we release 24 hours that we're given for free daily, so that I can focus on those things that matter to me. Otherwise, I end up having to be like a fly. Like what I was telling Mkwama Masimba. Hello? It's gone. Yeah, the people who follow him, when he's in problems, they're not there. They're like flies. They fly.
They're not there.
They fly to another rotten meat. And then he ends up on his own. Yet he's giving up time. Right now they say, if it was him, we would be here for 3 hours. But who benefits
For 3 hours, yes,
from giving up time so that others may
for free.
enjoy themselves? Others may be the people that they look up to, without even thinking that we are all human, created to live life as human beings. That time is the currents of life. And what you take from me by asking me to think, because you are saying, why are you evasive? But he didn't know that I didn't want to answer any question. But he says you are evasive. If I told you, give you the guarantee, tomorrow you'll be accusing me of making the decision. So, do you see the challenge?
I see the challenge.
How does Mr. Mawere fit into this? He wasn't part of the ended relationship. I don't know this paper.
And even from the beginning, you were not there.
I wasn't there. Yeah. But then I'm sucked into these disputes created by balanced people, mature people. Then Tembi said, Mr. Can I bring my problems to you as well? Just joking, hashtag just joking. Hope you are. But I'm tired of my ears hearing things that I don't have to hear in my life. Some people call you Mdara, a man of wisdom, only when they run into problems. If I say join C2C so that you can broaden advice, what is a guarantee?
They don't want. They'll come to inbox, and after that, privately, they'll say, on public, they say, this is a pyramid. And how can you work with the people of that caliber?
Oh, that brings us to Senior. You spoke to Senior earlier on.
Yes.
Who called who?
He called me.
And what was his message?
I'm not being given an opportunity to share my mind and my views concerning the issues we are discussing these days.
Yeah.
Actually, he's saying you personally, you don't like him. That is why you are avoiding him. That is why you don't want to involve him on these discussions. And I was trying to point out to him to say, that is why we are talking about C2C. We need to be in a community so that whatever we are discussing and whatever, we know we are sharing a common understanding with other people. But now in the community, and say, no, C2C is a pyramid. That one is a pyramid.
But every time he comes on air, he wants to intervene. He wants to participate. He wants to talk about culture. He wants to talk about Ubuntu. Then you have another person asking the same question. Is Mkoma Masimba a Mawere or is Mawere Mkoma Masimba? Can you imagine? What kind of idea, mindset that would inform that question? Why using account? Who are you? How can I use a stolen account? If it is stolen, the person affected by the theft of an account must be the one complaining about it. Imagine you set up a company, you die. Should the company die with you? But this must
the company will remain.
But the account can remain. And that's what we are saying. Whatever you've said, other people would then preserve it. Jesus never wrote a Bible, but others wrote the Bible. Now we have Mkoma Masimba saying, I'm writing a book. And he came to me, can you be a guest for my launch? And I asked him, what are you going to launch? And if you are writing your own book, really, do you need me to be a cheerleader for a book? Like Tembe said, can I also ask you to do lives with me and I write my book? And I said, no, I'm only assisting you to provoke others, like Masco, to ask the question. I asked in a light manner, my apologies. No, you're asking a relevant question. You're not the only one. Masco, this is not a light manner. This is how we destroy ourselves. We want to see Mkoma Masimba, yes. And it is Mkoma Masimba who is saying, I want to graduate so that we can have a platform where others can also thrive. This evening he was asking me, when can we get Mason? When can we get tenders? When can we do this? He was planning to share the platform with others. What kind of selflessness is that? That another person, my page is used by many people. I have no problem with that. It's not my people. I don't own anyone. We want Onongoti Madziwa. So if you want take him to prison, sign. Cage him. Make him your slave so that he doesn't have to make his own choice. And your choice become his choice. How low can I go? Not to respect somebody, to give an account to somebody. If Mkoma Masimba says, I've learned something from Mawere, and you have nothing to learn, if there's something that you can do with your time, it's just to stay on your own lane. Allow Mkoma Masimba to speak on behalf of his. When he calls me and talks to me, should I switch off and say, go to your people, go to Sain? I asked him the question today. People are confused. They want you. They don't want to learn anything from anybody. They want to imprison you. They want to make you their property. And he says, guys, let's form an association. Where is Sain in that association? A fly would say, I like the meat, and I want to protect the meat from other flies. I was in another group where we're talking about Chamisa. He's got 22.6 million people. I said, who can be an agent of somebody else? Surely, is that fair to expect Mkwawa Masimba to make the choices that things are sensible, are logical, are commonsensical, or you allow him to give his account details to whoever he chooses? What kind of intolerance is that? Esturukutaura about building communities, Maitafi. The promise and challenges, people like Munemo, I don't know which country he is. That's why Zimbabwe is messed up. Because Zimbabwe can never be messed up when people who call themselves Zimbabweans are mature, are sensible, are compassionate, respect others. But here we are on social media, and somebody wants to substitute another human being who is alive. Someone wants to protect other people who are alive, who can speak for themselves. Let Mkwawa Masimba come tomorrow, is here. Deal with this issue. Who gave his account details? If it is him, he must explain to you, because you own him. Sen no owns him. He wants the Mkwawa Masimba, even when he's sick, when he's asleep, to be up so that he's happy. What about putting yourself, Sen, in Mkwawa Masimba's shoes and say, what do you want? Why would you give your account details to this boring man? Let him say so. I don't need to know you, Sen, whoever you are. Why don't you stay on your lane? Be yourself. Speak about your own account. Don't speak on behalf of somebody else's time as if it's yours. Unless you're a little God who believes that you know better and things must be done your way, or there should be no way at all. So we were talking about the promise so that we reduce the burden. We get approached. Today is Mkwawa Masimba writing a book. He wants me to be at his launch. What is my interest? The moment I become part of one book, I have to become part of other books. What am I going to say for other people who want me to give up time so that I listen to their personal journeys? Do I have the ears that will absorb all the aspirations of people I know, or who think they know me and they want to use me? What should I do? Is it fair? Is it just for me to pick and choose and say this one is a favored one? I will give up my time and be on his life page. How can we build a nation of people who are myopic, who believe that their time is the only useful thing in life? I can't be everywhere. And that's what I told Mkwawa Masimba, write a book with lessons so that we can learn, that we can't abuse other people's time. Or just talking with somebody, ask me a question about an ex-girlfriend. What should I do? Who am I to advise? I said, be part of a community so that you strengthen your understanding, your shared understanding. And Sen Akarar, if I sleep, then what is your benefit? That's how stupid somebody can be. Why should you worry about my sleep? As if I knocked on your door to say, I have a problem with sleeping. How do you build a community of people who choose to see themselves as holier than thou? This is unfortunate, but that's the reality we live in. How many saints are there in the world? Common sense is not so common for some people. Tembi, you're on point. What is sense? What may be sensible to you, Tembi, may not be common to another. If Masimba gives somebody his account details to get into Facebook, into his account, into my account, then somebody will be hurt by that, will be upset by that. Can you imagine, Tembi, what kind of civilization this is? You step on the toe of somebody in Hong Kong, a person in Zimbabwe cries, I'm in pain. What is the problem? You stepped on my toe, but I'm not there. One would say. How many people in the diaspora are angry with things they can't change? Are angry with other people just seeing me. Somebody gets upset and tells me what time to sleep, what time it is. Can you imagine, Tembi? This is the kind of stupidity that has got Zimbabwe where it is today. No wonder Mkoa Masimba is saying, let me expose you to this problem, the Zimbabwean sickness that is exhibited by a person like Mnemo. That is the sickness. That instead of focusing on his lane, he focuses on my lane. As if I'm dead, his life will be better for it. If I don't do a live on Mkoa Masimba's page, he will be elated and will be better for it. What kind of stupidity is that? No wonder Ian Smith said maturity, balance, and compassion are attributes of humanity. When you go below that, what is the difference with an animal who kill another animal just for water? This is the problem. And that's the book that Mkoa Masimba is writing. Hope Sen Mnemo will be in that book, in that chapter, just to hear what he's trying to communicate. Whose page is it? Whose country is it? It's my country. Whose land is it? It's my land. So if you are white, don't use my land to grow food so that I eat the food. I would rather import food than get it produced next to me because it's my country, it's my page. Why are you using my land as if you created land, as if you created the Facebook page? Isn't that madness in motion? If that's not madness, what then could be madness? That you have a person can type that nonsense, that buffoonery, and say, I'm a thinker, I'm a human being standing on my two legs, and get worried about somebody who doesn't sleep. And other people may learn from this conversation. So thank you very much. Unless you have a question, I'm done. I only have 5 minutes to go. So if you have any question, you can pose any question. If you think it was a useful conversation, you can type why or no. so that people like Mnemo, who wants to kill somebody and say, you must be everyday life, we want you. You are like an animal in the zoo. And Mkoma Masiba becomes reduced to a caricature in a zoo, an animal. That we want you. We want the panda. We want that lion. And this is a human being like you and me, with 24 hours in a day, giving up day in, day out to please you, and saying, then you say you are happy because somebody else is giving up time. And you learn nothing from that. You want to imprison other people. Your wishes becomes their command. A clown in a circus, that's what people want to be. That Mkoma Masiba must continue to be a clown and must continue to represent the West in humanity, because the human beings can't lift him out of where he is. Because people like saying they want to condemn him. They want the clown so that they can clap their hands. What did he do today? What was the skit today? Even Trevor Noah gets paid for it. And people want to abuse others so that they give up time and they laugh at the person as if he's a clown. How many presidents are clowns, real clowns? Because citizens they look for clowns. They don't want to learn. They want to convert this time into clowning time. This is amazing. 40 years of independence has produced this kind of nonsense. No wonder. Many presidents are lonely because they're surrounded by fools who tell them what they want to hear. I hope we all learn and graduate and be the reason why communities are built, problems are solved. No single individual, however smart, however gifted, is allowed to have 3 eyes, 3 legs, 3 ears. We all have 2. Some may not see, but they're not stupid. Some may not walk, but they're not stupid. Some may not hear, but they're not stupid. They're still human beings. Imagine those who hear, those who can speak, who can type nonsense. What does it say about human beings who can't have that gift, that grace? What do we say to them? When we abuse, squander the gifts of nature to communicate in a clear and concise manner. Now we want to be in a comedy show where somebody gives us time, not structured, not orderly. You don't know where the skit is going. You don't know what the book is all about. And then you end up being associated with that kind of thinking, those kind of actions. So thank you very much.